of life and death.
Mask mandate. Residents in Cuyahoga County and 6 others in the state will have to wear a mask in public. But how long and how will it be enforced? A local hospital could be the pioneer of COVID-19 treatment. Who just received funding and which local celebrities are hopping on board to drum up support?
We felt rotten. I had body aches, crippling, cracking body aches. But what we were mostly concerned with was at the time what is next.
Actor Tom Hanks opens up about what it was like battling the coronavirus and how he's feeling now. And it is the season for brown grass. This heat can really do a number on your lawn. An expert shares some of his best practices to keep your lawn green during the heat. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and we're glad you've chosen to be here with us. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to What's New. I'm Betsy Kling. Laura Queso joins us again. She is in for Jay. And Laura, we have some breaking news to get to right away. Late this afternoon, Governor Mike DeWine announced that the State Department of Health will issue a mask mandate for 7 counties that you see here in dark blue. And Cuyahoga County is one of those counties.
That's right. 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski is breaking down today's big announcement. Hello to you, Rachel.
Hey, Betsy and Laura. It is a mask mandate. So just like it sounds, anyone in those 7 counties will be required to wear a mask when they are in public places. So you're going to want to think restaurants, bars, clothing stores, even in Ubers or on buses. So why these 7 counties? Well, the governor says they have very high exposure and spread levels compared to other counties in our state. Now, the mandate will go into effect tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. If it works and cases go down in any of those 7 counties, the mandate will be lifted. Here's what the governor had to say earlier.
In these red counties, people will need to wear a mask in the following circumstances: when they are in any indoor location that is not a residence, when they are outdoors and unable to consistently maintain a distance of 6 feet or more from individuals who are not members of their household, or while they are waiting for riding, driving, or operating public transportation, a taxi, a private car service, or a ride-sharing vehicle.
And I do want to mention that this order does not apply to kids under the age of 10 or anyone who cannot wear a mask safely in public with doctor's orders. Laura, back to you.
Rachel, thank you so much. Now, we do want to let you know that the state may have issued a mask mandate for Cuyahoga County, but that's not stopping Cuyahoga County Executive Armin Budish from going ahead with plans for a county mask requirement of its own. The county mandate would require people to wear a mask in public anywhere social distancing is not possible. Budish asked County Council to consider the proposal just as Governor Mike DeWine announced the state health order. Like some other mask mandates, the counties would include exceptions for young children, religious institutions, and private offices, and for people exercising or walking when they are able to maintain 6 feet of separation. The law calls for a warning and a $50 fine after that for violators. Here's what Budish said about it.
We have to protect our residents. We have to do something to stop the spread. We can't just continue like this. We don't want to close back down. The economy's already been seriously damaged, and another closure would probably be devastating. The simplest, least intrusive step that we can take is to mandate the wearing of face coverings when in public.
So what's next? Well, county lawmakers are expected to review the law next week and see if it makes sense in light of the governor's announcement. Either way, the county will have enforcement responsibility. Budish says the county enforcement would focus on complaints to the county health department and use sheriff deputies to follow up. Okay, so now here's a look at today's numbers. There were 948 new cases reported in the past 24 hours. The 21-day average is 804, so we're still above that. There were 43 new coronavirus deaths. The 21-day average is just 18. Now, Governor Mike DeWine pointed out today that more than 26% of new cases this month are in people ages 20 to 29. So compare that to March and April, when only around 12% of cases were in that age group.
Well, another big thing that's got people talking here on your feed at 5 is the weather. The heat has been a hot topic, but we had some pop-up storms today that really dumped a lot of rain over some parts of Northeast Ohio. Matt Wintz has been keeping an eye on that this afternoon. He is inside, we're happy to say. The mugginess just a little too much for you today, Matt, huh?
Yeah, just a little too much, Betsy, and this is a good excuse to clean the playroom every day, so I try to do it at least every other day, just to keep this place sane. But you're absolutely right. It's either feast or famine this time of year, Betsy, in terms of who gets the rainfall, who doesn't. You'll notice that line sometimes in the summertime where your neighbor got a lot of rain and you've got dry soil, and that was the case today. Our lakeshore counties didn't pick up a drop of rain until you got into the southern part of those counties, and thereafter, as you head down towards the south, boy, did we have some heavy downpours, still some ongoing. This all initiated along a lake breeze boundary. We have enough moisture in place, enough lift to produce these showers and thunderstorms. They are going to start to die out here over the next couple hours, but still going strong. Areas of Carroll County, just out towards the Steubenville area as you approach the state line. Still some decent thunderstorms there. Otherwise, it's just a heavy rain event from here on out for Dover, New Philly, Millersburg, Strasburg community, even Canton, still some rain left over. The severe threat, we've had a couple severe storms out of this. That threat is over, and we continue to dry out where we saw rain earlier, but look at the estimated rainfall. Those pink shaded areas, yeah, they're few and far between, but anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. Areas of northern Summit County, Portage County, then down towards the south where we've picked up a widespread 1 to 3 inches. Still some ongoing flooding as you get towards New Philadelphia, areas of Tuscarawas County. But look at this, temperatures where you had the rain were back down into the 70s to near 80 degrees, but it is thick, it is muggy outside. And then where we haven't had the rain, we're still in the 90s. It's still a heat story from here on out as we continue our heat wave. We'll detail those latest numbers and talk about that weekend relief coming up in the forecast. Laura and Betsy?
Thanks a lot, Matt. Well, speaking of numbers, as coronavirus cases continue to rise around the country, here in Cleveland, University Hospital's Harrington Discovery Institute is on the forefront of some pioneering therapies for treatment and prevention. They've partnered with Morgan Stanley to raise funding, and last month they asked some of Cleveland's own Hollywood celebrities to join the cause to encourage even more donations. Take a look.
Top scientific minds around the world are working to develop breakthrough therapies, and we are proud to say that our hometown, Cleveland, is part of that effort.
Cleveland's own Harrington Discovery Institute at University Hospitals identifies the best of the best scientific discoveries across the U.S. and the UK and advances them into proven medicines that can get to patients faster.
With the world in crisis.
Well, other celebrities like Molly Shannon and Monica Potter were also in that video. And you saw there too, Mike Polk, and I'm looking through my list of, quote, Hollywood celebrities that were supposed to be in there, and your name isn't on the list, yet you are in the video, Mike. Mega props.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. How did you get involved?
Thank you. Yeah, it was odd for me, too. I've kind of peripherally known David Wayne for quite some time, who produced that. He's a Cleveland boy, and I've loved his work since I was a kid. And I've always kind of known him and stuff like that, and he reached out, I assume, because maybe like he couldn't get a hold of Steve Harvey or Michael Stanley or something like that. So they went to the bullpen, and he asked if I would be a part of it, and I was happy to help out. But I didn't know that all of those other people would be participating. But of course, now I have listed that on my IMDb page just to try and start a buzz.
Obviously, I mean, bringing out the Southpaw, certainly from Brunswick there. Okay, so why do you think everyone is willing to support this cause?
Well, I think it's obviously a lot of respected people and names involved, and University Hospitals that kind of speaks for itself. So it's a very legit, but it also is an all hands on deck kind of situation right now, and everybody's scrambling for a cure. So I think that obviously the passion is high to try and figure it out, and that has helped them with their fundraising, and they've been able to give grants to a lot of people that are hopefully going to help us get through this thing. And more importantly, honestly, they're working towards things so that we can prevent this in the future. Like right now, we're working on this. Obviously, that's the concern, is the current pandemic. But we weren't prepared for this, and the whole world kind of got caught flat-footed. And that's part of the reason this has been as harsh as it is. So this is part of what they're doing, is working towards solutions long-term for if this does happen again down the road.
Well, obviously, we are very proud of you. We are gushing with, just fabulous platitudes and whatnot. So I guess the big question is, How has the feedback other than ours been with the video?
It's been good. I've gotten a lot of response to it. I'm surprised by how many people had seen it. But obviously a lot of people who have seen it, and my friends and people who have sent it to me, assume that I edited myself into it in post to try and look like I was involved. And I let them run with that. I'm just like, yeah, that's fine. But we all know, Betsy.
I mean, I wouldn't put it by you. We'll put it that way.
No,
but I
I've
mean,
done worse.
It's pretty solid for sure, and we are very proud of
Yes.
you, Mike, for taking part in that.
Thank you.
So.
It's a good cause, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
And thanks for coming out of the basement to do it. We do appreciate that very much.
No problem. Very chill down here.
Well, Monica Robbins is going to have even more on what this funding means tonight in Ohio, coming up on What Matters Most at 6. Thanks, Mike. Well, let's go over to Laura now with a look at some of the headlines that are happening around the state today. Hi, Laura.
Betsy, we start with some tragic news tonight. An 8-year-old has died after being found at the bottom of a hotel pool. Christopher Johnson, who has disabilities, went missing yesterday afternoon from the Holiday Inn in Strongsville. After hours of searching, he was found in the pool. Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson and Police Chief Calvin Williams talked this afternoon about the violent holiday weekend in the city. 4 people were killed and almost 24 injured in shootings. Chief Williams said the violence was not unique to Cleveland, his words. He says it was happening all over the country.
There are societal ills and foundational things that lead to these, and we have to all be involved in the solution of how we mitigate and suppress violent crime in the city and how we make the lives of the people who visit, work, and live in this city a lot better.
Chief Williams says it's so important that everyone be vigilant, and if you see something, say something. Besides the violent crime, officers responded to, get this, 700 calls for fireworks over the 3-day weekend. That's a lot. Well, the Ohio High School Athletic Association has appointed Bob Goldring its interim executive director, effective immediately. This comes after Jerry Snodgrass stepped down as the executive director, a position he's held for 2 years now. No word yet on why exactly he quit. Those are your headlines at 5 o'clock, Betsy.
All right, we'll catch up with you again coming up in just a little bit. Well, Tom Hanks talked about his experience with coronavirus this morning on the Today Show. Maybe you saw it. He and his wife, Rita Wilson, were diagnosed with the virus during a trip to Australia and have since recovered. Hanks compared the battle against the virus to World War II, and he called on all Americans to come together to do their part, just like they did during the war.
There was a sensibility that permeated all of society, which was, do your part. We're all in this together. And that meant doing your part meant there was a tiny bit of stuff that you could do in order to aid the ongoing stasis of an effort that had no sign of its conclusion. World War II went on for an awfully long time, a big portion of everybody's lives. They didn't know that it was going to come to an end, and we don't know what's going to happen with COVID-19. The idea of doing one's part, though, should be so simple. Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands.
And interestingly, that has been kind of what everybody's been saying since the start of all this. Well, Hank said this is especially important because some people get the virus and they don't show any symptoms. It's called asymptomatic. Lester Holt will have much more from Tom Hanks during a one-on-one interview with the actor tonight on Nightly News. And Laura, there are some connections between Cleveland and Tom Hanks. He's kind of an adopted hometown kid, and we are certainly proud that he does come back here every now and again. And he was one of the very early Hollywood people to speak out on this and to actually have the virus.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that same thing. I remember when that happened, it came out as breaking news, but he really detailed what he was doing, how he was doing, and kind of really opened up our eyes early on when he and his wife did come down with COVID-19.
Definitely did.
All right, still ahead. It is Tech Tuesday. Parents, your kids might need to find a new app to stay entertained. Why the U.S. is looking into, get this, banning TikTok.
And I know there's a whole lot of eyeballs on this story. Cedar Point is planning on opening this week. We'll have everything you need to know before you head to the Point. Well, you see it there, everybody. It is Tech Tuesday, and there's some tech news that may be shaking up a lot of kids' free time. The U.S. is looking into banning TikTok and other Chinese social media apps.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo made this statement on Fox News when he was asked if the U.S. should be looking into banning the apps. He said they've been working on the issue for a while now. Tensions between the U.S. and China are high and have spilled into trade and technology. U.S. lawmakers have criticized TikTok for being a threat to national security because of its ties to China. It's run by a Beijing startup company.
Well, TikTok told CNN that, quote, TikTok is led by an American CEO with hundreds of employees and key leaders across safety, security, product, and public policy here in the U.S. It went on to say that it never provided user data to the Chinese government and never would. So, Laura, I don't know, are you on TikTok? I know there's a lot of people that are. I'm
not.
Are
you?
I think, for it.
No.
I just can't grasp onto that one. But I know there are a lot of kids who are. It pops up in Twitter feeds and everything else. So, you know, they're cute little fun videos people get to do. I think a lot of people are going to have to find a new bit of a hobby, though.
Oh, I know. And, you know, I do really like to watch them, though. My cousin actually posted one yesterday. My little cousin was dancing, and I was like, she is really good. I was watching it over and over, but you're right. A lot of kids doing it, a lot of adults, too. Might need to find something new to pass the time, Betsy.
What shall they do? I wonder. Maybe track the weather, because it's so fun. I know. Not everybody wants to do that, but geeks like Matt and I certainly do. Laura, we'll bring you into the fold on this one. Matt, it has been an interesting afternoon, to say the least, with those pop-up storms. We had a lot of rain in some places, but I got to tell you, all in all, we still need the rain across a big chunk of Northeast Ohio. Definitely.
Yeah, Betsy, you're absolutely right. I mean, the heavens opened up for many people today. Some of us didn't see any rain, especially as we got further up towards the lake. We had that lake breeze boundary come in, and it was a stable air mass that really eroded the thunderstorms. But we had some roads washed out across portions of the viewing area. That's how heavy some of this rain was, falling at rates of over 3 inches an hour. Really some incredible rainfall rates today. But things starting to quiet down. I want to start you off with temperatures, because the heat has been the big story. We're not getting the relief at night now. You can see we're still at 90 downtown, 92 Sandusky. Look at the rain-cooled air out towards the east. Jefferson checking in at 75, 73 Youngstown, and even cooler, 71 in Millersburg and Dover, New Philly at 72. But it is really thick. You trade the hot temperatures for the cooler temperatures after the rain, but you trade that for the high humidity. Dew points pretty much area-wide in the upper 60s to near 70. That air has become thick, as we were mentioning yesterday. So you factor those two numbers together, pretty comparable to the temperatures is what it feels like. So here's the rain that we had today. You can see everything kind of bubbling its way down to the south and the east. Some really efficient rainfall producers, as we mentioned, still coming down real good. Areas of Tuscarawas County right now, New Philly, Dover over towards Carrollton, still seeing heavy rain. Your severe threat's over with this. You may have another rumble or two of thunder, but really the rain is going to be the story over the next hour before that starts to fade. Off towards the north, we had some bad flooding. Areas of Portage County, Summit County earlier. You've dried out, so that water's starting to recede and finally soak into the ground. In Ashland County, you saw some heavier rain earlier with some flooding. Still seeing some light showers there. But the flash flooding, the big issue from this, you have the dry soil that we've had. You know that if you water the garden after you haven't for a while, that water collects on top before it finally sinks in, and that has been the problem. The dry soil, the rain falls, it doesn't soak in right away, so you have lots of flooding problems initially. In the areas in green, still dealing with flash flooding, especially in areas of Tuscarawas, even Portage County still. Big picture looks like this, though. You can see the bubble-up showers and storms starting to come to an end. We'll keep our eye on perhaps some off towards the west later on this evening, but the hot and humid atmosphere not going anywhere. We have to wait for that low pressure way up by Montana to head east. That will bring us some rain-clearing thunderstorms Friday and Saturday. But until then, same old story. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. We clear out tonight. It'll be a thick night, especially where you saw that rainfall, maybe even a little bit of fog around tomorrow morning. All that fog will lift. We'll deal with sunshine to start your Wednesday and more pop-up showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, likely along the lake breeze. I don't think the coverage will be nearly what we had today, and then more of the same on Thursday with more isolated showers showers and thunderstorms. But the big story for everyone the next couple days is the heat. We continue with the heat wave. Look at that, 94 tomorrow, 95 on Thursday before we start to bring things down this weekend. That ridge responsible for it continues to build across the eastern U.S., but watch what happens next week. We get a little breath of fresh air from the north. The ridge strengthens off towards the western half of the U.S., and all indication is that we're back into the heat as we go on into next week. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Hot the next couple days. Best chance of storms over the next 7 days would be Friday later in the day and during the daytime Saturday as that frontal boundary sags over the area, and then things should start to clear out with slightly lower humidity to start next week. But until then, even those that saw the flooding today, I'm sure they appreciated some of the rain, and we could still use more here across Northeast Ohio.
We definitely could. And Matt, I got a Facebook post message from a guy named Larry Rudd. He's a firefighter. He lives down in New Philadelphia, watches all the time, good friend. It says, it's raining cats and dogs and chickens and pigs here in New Philadelphia. And he used the emojis of the animals. So it has been raining a lot. So it's good that things are going to drain out slowly. All right, Matt, we'll get another check with you coming up in just a few minutes. Well, health officials want to get a better picture of just how many people got infected with COVID-19 at Put-in-Bay. Remember a couple weekends ago? Well, their plan to keep track of all those cases coming up ahead in Clicking in Cleveland.
Yes, I do.
Well, it definitely had a lot of people talking last week, and you're still clicking on it today in Cleveland. Stephanie is back after a long weekend. All right, Stephanie, this whole Put-in-Bay thing, we saw those pictures of the people packed into the bars there. Well, now you're looking at them doing some stuff to get ahead of this possible virus spread there?
That's right, Betsy. Health officials are trying to wrap their minds around how much COVID-19 did spread around Put-in-Bay, so they are lining up the tests. The goal is for them to test all of South Best Island businesses and employees this Friday and Saturday. That's according to the Ottawa County Health Commissioner. The National Guard, the Erie County Health Department, the Magruder Hospital will all help out, and they expect to test up to 1,000 people. So be prepared for that. Now, ahead of all that testing that's happening on Friday and Saturday,
Thursday is a very big day for Cedar Point as the park reopens for season ticket holders with a reservation. And there is a lot you need to know. Now, you already know that you need a reservation and you can't transfer them to other people, but here's a big one. If you no-show for 2 reservations without changing them or contacting the park to cancel, you could be hit with a penalty and a blackout period. So make sure you know your schedule before you book. For every single thing you need to know about Cedar Point this summer, including hours, mask guidelines, maps, and how resort guest reservations work, text the word RIDE to 216-344-3300 and we'll send the link to our guide right to your phone. And today is a very special day. So back in October, this couple became the longest married presidential couple, and today, former President Jimmy Carter and Rosalind are celebrating 74 years married. They were married in 1946 in Georgia, and get this, Rosalind actually rejected Jimmy's first proposal. She rejected it because she promised her dad on his deathbed that she would graduate college before getting married. So she did, at the age of 18, by the way, very smart lady there, and they got married that year when Jimmy was just 21 years old. Now Jimmy is 95 and she's 92, and they are still going strong. Just looking at those pictures of them kissing over the years is absolutely adorable. It's just the same pose, different year for those two, just being all consistently cute and in love. Betsy, it's precious. You just love to see it.
74 years, that's a really long time to be married. I got to tell you, that's a big number that's out there. So impressive, to be sure. All right, Stephanie, thank you very much. Well, everybody working from home or working from the office, we'd love for you to tell us where you feel more productive by voting at WKYC.com/vote now. Now, we're going to tell you what most people are saying about returning to the office. Plus, this heat, it can turn your beautiful green lawn into a brown, crunchy mess. Well, we talked to the experts about the best ways to keep it green. And today's announcement on mask mandates for several counties is getting a lot of buzz. We're going to hear what many of you are saying about it. We'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to What's New. I'm Betsy Kling. Laura Queso is in the passenger seat filling in for Jay today. Certainly great to have you along with us, and it is 5:30, so that means it's time to hear something good. So, Laura,
yes, it
help
is.
us out with that.
Yeah, and this story is incredible, Betsy. A Michigan woman just turned 100 years old, and she has a lot to celebrate. Why? Well, Margaret Roll not only beat pneumonia, but she also, hands up, beat the coronavirus. Her granddaughter, Peggy Hopper, celebrated with her through the window. Roll received a bunch of birthday cards after Hopper posted on Facebook asking people to wish Roll a happy birthday. She also bought a bunch of balloons. This day is something Roll's granddaughter hoped would come.
I'm so thankful that she made 100. I just so wanted that for her, and so we made it.
And look how many people delivered. You know, I was watching this story, and I guess a doctor called Roll's granddaughter and said, I think she'll beat pneumonia and COVID, but she might die from a broken heart because she wasn't able to see her family. But look at her now. She's seeing her family, even through a window, in a huge birthday celebration, Betsy.
She looks amazing.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness gracious. If only we all could look that beautiful
Right?
at 100 years old. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much, Laura. Definitely some good news to be had there. But I'll tell you what everybody's talking about is this mask mandate. Governor DeWine has now made wearing masks mandatory out in public in 7 Ohio counties, including Cuyahoga, Huron, and Trumbull counties here in Northeast Ohio. Now, the reason? Well, these counties are all at level red on the public health advisory system. That means that the case numbers are rising. Any county that advances to the red level will be included in the mandatory mask order. And if the county drops out of the red order, well, the order is going to go away.
This order does not apply to children under the age of 10 or any other minor who cannot safely wear a face covering, or anyone who cannot safely wear a face covering.
All right, so the numbers climb, the masks are on. The numbers come down, you get to take the masks off. That's a goal, right? Put this as a Facebook challenge and we'd have no problem doing this. Well, even if you live in a county that is not at a level red, DeWine is urging everyone to still wear masks to keep your county from reaching that point. Now, obviously, this has a lot of people talking, and 3 News digital anchor Stephanie Haney joins us now. Stephanie, what are people saying? I imagine that everybody's kind of got an opinion and they are letting it be known.
They do, and I was actually surprised to see the general consensus, Betsy. A lot of people that I'm seeing online are wanting more after this executive order announced today. Now, it's easy to sort of look back in time and say what should have happened, right? But some people are saying if we had required masks back in March, we wouldn't be where we are today with case numbers. But people are still happy that it's happening now and saying we need to wear them, especially if it keeps businesses open. For some, it's less about timing and more about reach. This person wants masks statewide so more counties never make it to that level 3 red alert, and people can safely go back out to restaurants and send kids back to school sooner. And then there is Allison Dow, who is worried that a statewide order won't come until it's too late. And of course, there are those who want no part of it, with comments like, how about no? How about if you're worried about getting the virus, you stay home? And this person who is asking about timing from the flip side, wondering why the order is coming now when hospitals are not overwhelmed and seem to be handling the situation fine for the moment without looking forward to what's to come. But even with some people saying they want no part of it and they won't comply, Betsy, the overwhelming majority of the comments that I've seen online, they want it now, they want more, they want statewide right away.
I'm surprised by that, quite honestly, because there's a very, very vocal bunch of people who absolutely refuse to wear the masks. So it's going to be a little confusing here for a while. You do you. We'll put it that way, and we'll let the state hash it out from there with consequences. All right. Thanks a lot, Stephanie. Well, Laura Queso has more news headlines for us now. And Laura, it's all about the numbers as far as coronavirus goes now that this mask mandate is out.
Exactly. And, you know, that's a big reason. They're saying the numbers are going up and they continue to do so. Today's numbers show there are 948 new cases of the virus in the state. That's 143 more cases from yesterday, an uptick of 18%. The World Health Organization is warning that the coronavirus epidemic is accelerating. Dr. Michael Ryan warned today the virus continues to gain pace, and that only means a spike in deaths is likely to follow. He also dismissed the idea that the jump in cases is related to more testing. 8 Cleveland area Levin Furniture and Mattresses locations are back open. This comes after the company filed bankruptcy and the original owner and partners bought the company back. Now, if you had ordered furniture and made a deposit prior to closing, and if you have not received a refund, you will be getting a letter or an email detailing what your options are. Good to know there, Betsy.
It definitely is. All right, Laura, thank you very much. Well, as the number tracking continues, you know, COVID-19 forced a lot of people to start working from home. We had a whole bunch of them here. And this is a look inside of our newsroom now, and it's pretty empty. It's been this way since March. That is a live look. I think Laura is back there in the corner by the big windows. And I think Brian Crane is still here, one of our web editors, and we have a couple video editors who are still with us. But it's pretty quiet around here. Normally we have hustle and bustle of a major market newsroom, right? 25, 35 people. Well, recent studies have found that 70% of people believe they are just as or more productive working from home, while 60% say they think the pandemic improved how we work for the better. All right, so now we're going to ask you, are you more productive in the home or in the office? We would love for you to tell us at WKYC.com/vote now. And while you do your voting, not everyone is ready to make working from home a permanent solution.
Those people that do miss being in their physical office, they miss their coworkers the most, followed by some sense of routine, followed by just simply getting out of the house.
Well, experts believe that businesses will be leasing less space and there will be fewer offices and cubicles. However, there will be more conference rooms and open spaces so workers can do what they can't at home, and that's meet face to face with their coworkers. All right, so Laura, you actually worked at home. You moved during the pandemic and then started working with us from your home. What did you think of the whole work from home thing?
You know, it took me a while to get used to it, but I didn't hate it. You know, it was funny though, Betsy. When I started working at the station, I was all upside down. I'm like, what is my workflow? Because you get so used to doing something.
Right.
I was there for a few months, but I didn't hate it, but I'd rather be here. I'd like to see your face, even though we're 6
I got to tell you, the one nice thing, there's no managers around here. So there might be
I can't say that. I'm new. I cannot say that.
Every now and then. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's look at our question of the day. Most of you are saying you feel more productive when you work from home. I think that's pretty interesting. So we'll have to kind of watch and see how you navigate. Be interesting to do a thing on home offices and how those have changed over the last 4 months. That would be a very good insight to have too.
I think that's a story, Betsy. It's a good pitch. All right, still ahead. This heat, it can do a lot of damage to your lawn. What you can do to keep your lawn looking green during this heat wave.
And speaking of the heat wave, how's the weather looking, Matt?
Come on, come on, come on. Not even a drop. Not even a drop of rain here up towards the lakeshore. Others saw flooding today. That is the nature of thunderstorms in the summertime. We'll detail where the storms are now. We'll talk more about this heat wave coming up in the forecast.
Hey there, David. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, you know, I'm actually going to take them off.
Yes, I know. The heat is refreshing for some people. I can handle it for about 20 minutes and then I'm ready to get back in the air conditioning. But it's not good for your lawn. Your lawn, of course, can't get any relief. And if you've been noticing, your lawn is probably beginning to brown up a bit. Well, our Jason Fraser has some tips to ensure your lawn is still looking green throughout this entire hot week.
Summer. It's a time where you can finally take a walk outside or that vacation you've been dreaming of. For your lawn, though, it can be a nightmare.
This time of year, we start to see lawns browning out. We start to see a lot of insect and disease activity because the lawns are stressed at this time of year.
For any green thumb, seeing your lawn or trees turn brown can certainly turn you red in frustration. But many times, Ted Bartlett from Davy Tree, a professional lawn care service, says it's not your fault. The brown can be the result of a few things.
Lack of water, the heat evaporating, any rainfall or watering that the homeowners are doing on their own. If you catch it soon enough, they definitely can recover.
In order to get that lush green color back, your garden needs a couple of things.
You need fertilizer, nutrients, and water.
But not too much water. He recommends several things for your lawn, including ensuring that your garden gets about 2 inches of water per week, watering in the early morning hours before it gets too warm, and checking on your plants daily. If your trees turn brown, they'll need a little bit more attention.
You want to do longer, deeper waterings on your trees and shrubs to get to those deeper roots. And you want to do that 3 to 5 times a week as well.
So if you do find that either your lawn or the trees in your backyard do turn brown, what you should know is that it is going to take several weeks in order for it to return back to that lush green look that plenty of us love, Betsy. And you know what? Just so that you know, Betsy, I am a terrible green thumb person. What about you?
I love plants. Lawns, definitely not my forte, for sure. All right, Jason, so you mentioned this 2 inches of water per week. How do you measure 2 inches of water per week? Now, I know meteorologically how to measure 2 inches per week. I imagine you could put a rain gauge in your yard as you're going to water. But what if you don't have a rain gauge? What if you don't have that proper equipment?
Yeah, so our green thumb expert recommends getting a coffee can, which is normally about 2 inches, and filling it with water. And he says, however much that water evaporates, that's how much water your lawn will need.
Oh, so you keep it at 2 inches and adjust from there. That's kind of clever, actually.
Yeah.
I might have to steal that one from
I
you.
learned something today, actually. I didn't even, this city boy from New York did not know that. So I actually learned something new today.
Yeah, well, if you talk to my husband, he'll get into fescue and bluegrass and all kinds of random other stuff after that, over my head. I like to observe other people's beautiful lawns and not take care of it myself.
Yeah,
so.
right. Like this one here.
Exactly. All right, Jason, go get cool for sure. Laura?
All right, I guess I learned something new too. And you know who else is always giving us the best information, so much wisdom, and I learn something from you every day, whether it's about childcare or maybe even the weather, is Matt. Wow. And Matt, another hot day outside. I can hear the kids too. I love it.
Yeah, River's showing his face here. Hi, buddy. What do you have? You have a train? Thank you. You want to come and sit up here and help me do weather? Yeah, okay. River got a haircut. Mama did haircuts for the whole family this weekend, so a little bit of a colic on all of us, but that's okay. It looks good, huh? What do you think? Did you see it rain today? Did it rain today? No, it didn't. River, you're lying. We don't do that, all right? Emmy, you're right. It didn't rain here locally, but a lot of you did see rain today. What's new in terms of the weather forecast? Here are your high temperatures today. Akron, 94 degrees. Everyone else at 93. What's really interesting, there's something called a convective temperature. That is the temperature that is predetermined that we have to reach every single day for clouds to begin to bubble up into the atmosphere. And that temperature was 91 to 92 today. And as soon as we hit 91 to 92, which was just after noon for many of us, those clouds bubbled up and look what we had, showers and thunderstorms. Kind of interesting, right? Well, those showers and thunderstorms put down some really, really heavy rain across portions of the viewing area. Still have ongoing flash flooding down in Tuscarawas County, even eastern Stark County near Louisville heading towards Alliance. We've got some flooding still ongoing, but most of the rain's starting to come to an end. That's the good news. We still have a solid rain right now. This will come with the occasional lightning strike from Canton down towards New Philly, stretching all follow our way over towards the Worcester area. This will continue over the next probably hour and a half, and then it'll shrink in coverage. But that is a good soaking down there where you already had one. But everyone else starting to dry out. We're just dealing with the clouds, actually the Anvil cloud off of those cumulonimbus clouds that tower some 40,000 feet up into the atmosphere. The big picture looks like this, so you can see pretty much the same pattern across areas of the Midwest. It's not until that low pressure way off towards the west of Montana gets here, that will be Friday into Saturday, that will start to clear things out. So not much relief tonight. We're going to be back into the 70s. It is just going to be a murky atmosphere. Your National Zymark hour-by-hour forecast does dry us out tonight. Tomorrow, more of the same, just some isolated showers and thunderstorms. I'm not really impressed with the coverage over the next 2 days. I think today was really our big rain day, but the heat, the big story. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to have to deal with soaring temperatures. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Notice the rain late day Friday, Saturday as well. We're going to deal with real good rain chances around here. We'll clear things out and cool things down as we go into next week. You want to send it back to the studio, to Laura? Yeah, I think that's what he said. We'll work on it.
He's good, though, you know? He's a natural. Yeah, there he is. Yep. Oh, he loves it. All right, Matt, thanks so much. New at 5, he claims to be a billionaire, but it turns out Kanye West borrowed money from the government during the pandemic. What he used it for. Plus, why Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks are postponing tonight's concert. That's all coming up for you in your Pop Break.
That's right, and today's Worth the Watch involves kids who are acting. One dad has his kids recreate iconic movie scenes, and we're gonna let you see this cool one. All right, we're going to check in on our question of the day. We asked you, where are you more productive when you're working, at home or at the office? And as you can see, 75% of you are saying that you are more productive at home. We did have a couple write-in answers. One of those was from a guy named Matt Wentz that said, ha, 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 not likely. And then River Wentz also replied in and said, ha, 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 gotcha, Daddy.
That's good. That's
Laura.
good. But 75% at home, that's insane. Yep. All right. Johnny Depp says he is not a monster and a health scare for a country music power couple. Let's get to Stephanie with your pop break now. Hi, Stephanie.
He's claimed to be a billionaire, but that didn't stop Kanye West from borrowing between $2 and $5 million from the government during the pandemic for his Yeezy clothing line. Records showed the money came from the Paycheck Protection Plan meant to help small businesses stay afloat. Kanye's company claims it used the forgivable loan to save 106 jobs. Kanye also just inked a 10-year deal to create a Yeezy Gap apparel line. Oh, and did we mention he's running for president? Johnny Depp's libel trial kicked off today in London with some fireworks. The actor is suing the Sun newspaper for saying he beat his ex-wife Amber Heard. The 57-year-old actor admitted in court that he's taken every drug known to man, but insists he's not the horrible monster she made him out to be. He says she was actually the abusive one and testified that she severed the top of his finger by hitting him with a vodka bottle. Halle Berry is apologizing to fans for considering a role as a transgender man in an upcoming film. She brought it up during an Instagram interview, and the backlash was fast and harsh. Berry says she now realizes she should not have considered the role, and the transgender community should have the opportunity to tell their own stories. And sorry, country music fans, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood have postponed tonight's Facebook Live concert because someone from their team may have been exposed to COVID-19. The couple issued a statement on Instagram saying Brooks has also postponed 2 of his Inside Studio G shows. Both are feeling fine, but they plan to quarantine for 2 weeks so they don't accidentally expose anyone else to the virus.
Lots of drama in the entertainment world today. Now, about that canceled concert. Garth and Trisha have been putting on these shows since March to help people cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. And when they first started doing it, the first stream was so popular, had so many viewers, that it actually crashed multiple times, Laura and Betsy. Now, country music is one of those things people either seem to love it or they hate it. I happen to be a fan. I think a lot of people will be bummed about this, but it's good they're locking it down so they can hopefully get back very soon, bring those shows back.
Well, the talent is undeniable. We know that's the truth. So certainly people are just looking for anything to do at this point. Maybe they're going to gain a whole lot of new fans.
Exactly.
All right.
Stephanie, thanks so much.
That's true. That's a really good point.
Oh, we are all looking for stuff to do with our kids as this quarantine and the, restrictions continue. Well, one dad dressed his kids up and recreated some awesome movies. I think you get an idea what this one is, but we'll let you hear it too in our Worth the Watch.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, it's time for our Worth the Watch. And you know, one Connecticut dad has been passing the time on lockdown by recreating movie scenes with his kids. I have a feeling a lot of Clevelanders are going to know exactly what this one is.
Are you crying? You're crying? There's no crying baseball. There's no crying baseball.
How many times I've actually said that line to my children. There's no crying in baseball. You get so frustrated sometimes you just don't know what to do. Well, obviously it is A League of Their Own with Tom Hanks, one of the best movies. That's one of those that, you know, when you're rolling through the features and whatnot and it's on, you stop and watch it. I just think there's so many great lines.
That's such a good line.
There you are. What'd you think?
Oh, yeah, I know. I was like, is my mic on? It's such, you stop for that line. My father-in-law loves that movie. Every time I'm there, I feel like we're watching it. So worth it. Those kids are good actors.
They definitely are. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us here on our Tuesday What's New? What matters most?